salvation, hope, peace, tranquility is all of the things on our horizon as Chelsea are here for our penultimate game. The second to last game, for those that don't know the word penultimate, but the penultimate game of the season. And it comes against a side that, well, I mean, our record as of September, maybe even July of pre-season, if you count the Premier League summer series, we are on a run of 3 wins. 3 wins against Brighton and Hove Albion. Let me just turn down the light just a little bit. I'm a pasty boy otherwise. But we come into this game with 3 consecutive wins following 2 consecutive losses, back-to-back losses. And if I'm not mistaken, back-to-back losses home and away in that season, the 22-23 season. So we have a chance. We have a chance to rectify that in and of itself. And we also have a big task, a big chance to capitalise, finally, I would argue once and for all. Man United are up, they're chasing, they're close. They're very close up the arse. They'll be wanting to rectify how they've gone about doing it. They've lost Varane. I got into it on Twitter with people over that, saying that Thiago Silva's out, so why not Varane? Didn't expect it to go down as badly as it did, but I was thinking more so of a like for like in terms of experience. They've done a lot on the You don't know anything! Didn't you know he's injury prone? Don't you know anything about football? And it's like, all right, Jesus Christ, calm down. I just thought it was a good little a good little comparison. And hey, it's a match made in heaven if Varane came to Chelsea. If, of course, he is to remain as injury prone as he has been with Manchester United. But anyway, I digress. Before we get into this even more, I just want to say a big thank you to each and every one of you watching. 8,000 subscribers with 2 games still to go this season. It's been a pleasure. It really has. It continues to be, and it will continue to be in the seasons to come. I don't remember much of the last game, I'll be honest with you. I was a little bit tipsy. I'd had a little bit too many drinks at the pub before the game. But, I've had time to reflect. I've had time to kind of go through what's happened in that game against Nottingham Forest. It was Nottingham Forest. A brilliant game. It had highs. It had very big lows. I remember watching back and thinking, my God, I was being very dramatic. But at the same time, drunk or not, I would have been the exact same way. I mean, if you watch me enough, you know that wasn't really too different to what I am like. It was just a little bit more. I was a little bit more aggressive, I would say. Sterling scoring sobered me up just a little bit, and then of course Reece James coming on after I'd spoke shit about him, but it was kind of like, I was being facetious. I was being sarcastic. I was being a twat, basically. But you all know how much I love Reece James. You know that I want him to succeed. You know I want him back. You know he's my captain. He is who I want to be, captain of Chelsea Football Club. And so, again, I had people saying, like, that's what you get for talking shit about Reece James, the GOAT, and all that. Yes, I agree. I know. But again, the cobwebs have gone. I've sobered up. And Chelsea sit in 7th place, 57 points. We'll take a look, actually, before I start rambling away. Here is the table as of recording. It is a couple of hours or so, or a few hours before the Man City-Tottenham game, or the Tottenham-Man City game, which everyone and their granny wants Man City to win if, you have any sense about you. Obviously, people will want Arsenal to win the league because you can't have Man City win it again. Why? Why? I don't know. For me, it's Man City. I can't bear Arsenal to win the league. And if you can, then what is wrong with you? I just don't understand. I do understand where people are coming from both sides in terms of Tottenham. You know, there's people saying I couldn't bear gifting Arsenal the league. And that's absolutely the side of the track that I'm on in terms of that. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but it's the end of the season. Fuck it. Do you know what I mean? If I was a Tottenham fan, I would want to lose this game as well. Do you know what I mean? I'd want to lose against the fact of the matter is, I don't think they have much of a choice, but it's the thought that counts. Do you know what I mean? If it means not having Champions League next season, they're not going to win the Champions League anyway. So I don't think. Do you know what I mean? If it means that I think that shows how much you love your club. If you're like, I'm willing to sacrifice this huge occasion that I could spend all year next year going home and away into Europe and going watching, you know, some of the biggest teams play at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But no, I'd rather lose if it meant Arsenal didn't win the league. That's a proper fan. That's a true fan, if there ever was one. That's rivalry. That is football at its core. I've just realised I'm not wearing a Chelsea shirt. This might be the first stream or the first video I've ever done without a Chelsea jacket or shirt on or whatever. But I'm not complaining too much. I quite like the look. All the same, going back to Chelsea in the league, 57, 57 and 54. It's tight to say the least. And of course, as we know, Manchester United have to face Newcastle at St James's Park. It's not likely to be a Manchester United win. A draw would be absolutely spectacular. They are going to be playing at the same time as us, more or less, 15 minutes later than when we start. And all eyes will be on that game. If we've got the win, if we're winning, then all eyes will go over to that game. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the remainder of the season, I mean, it's a weird sight, isn't it? It always is weird coming to this time of the year and seeing so little left to play for. But there is still so much to play for at the same time. Of course, as I said, Manchester United, is it at Old Trafford? By God, is it at Old Trafford? It is at Old Trafford. I don't think that matters, but it is at Old Trafford. It might make the slightest bit of difference. If it was at St James's Park, I don't think it would be that good. This is turning into a United Newcastle preview, but I'm sorry. But at the same time, we've got Brighton and Bournemouth in our remaining games. We just need to win both, and more or less, I see us finishing sixth. I can't see Newcastle not dropping at least 2 points in the next two games. The Manchester United game, I think it's got draw written all over it. Surely. I don't know. Anyway, back into the swing of things, and Pochettino had his press conference. Obviously, he was talking this, that, and everything else about, you know, if fans can love me, they can hate me. I don't really care. He had this at the first season at Tottenham, and they came to love me and all this sort of thing. And I'm not actively disliking him. I quite like him as a person. I think that it's all come a little bit good right at the end. Obviously, we've got 3 wins on the bounce now. 2-0 against Tottenham, 5-0 against West Ham, 3-2 against Forest. Nearly ballsed it up against Forest, but we showed determination, showed grit, showed that we can overcome adversity, and we did just that. Is that a sign that the tides have turned, that the luck is on our side, that the quality is coming through, that Pochettino's game plan, that his philosophy has finally shone onto this side? I hope so. I really do. If we have another season of games like we've had in the last 4, great. If we have a game like we had the game before this good run of form, then sure. I'm just not blind to the facts. And I'm not just going to blindly just like overly praise like a lot of people have done, where they've gone like, oh, this is it. Pochettino proving all of you fuckers wrong. Do you know what I mean? It's not one of those things. It's like we go through swoops and roundabouts, highs and lows. That's what it's been this season. This is nothing new. We've had really good runs of form. We've had really bad runs of form. We've lost 5-0 to Arsenal. We've drawn 5-5 or whatever it was against City. There's highs and lows, but that's all part and parcel of being a Chelsea fan. That's all a part and parcel of being Chelsea Football Club. What I want to see from next season, if Pochettino is to stay, is more of the same. Not more of the same. More of what we've seen in the last 4 games, because he's not overdoing it, but there are a lot of people saying, this, that, and everything else about, you don't know anything about football, your ball knowledge is shite, this, that, you don't know what you're talking about just because we've won a couple of games when it matters most. I'm not going to beat around the bush in that regard, but there's still some things to do here. There's still a lot to do in terms of Brighton's never easy. Brighton is never easy. Their run of form at the moment, it's a little bit shaky. In the Premier League, at home, 2 wins in their last 5. 5 wins in the last 5 with 3 draws and 2 losses. The 2 losses were against Arsenal and Man City, by the way. In 2 of their last 3 at home in the league. Our away form, again, it's not great. It's not great. Obviously, our first win since the 12th of February against Palace. And then before then, it was the 30th of December against Luton. We've then gone through... 5 games without a win in the Premier League away from home to then get it against Forest. Hopefully that G's them up. Hopefully that spurs on the players to get that final away win and get all 3 points. But I'm not coming into this expecting a win just because of how we've been playing over the last 4 games. I think it's entirely possible. I do think it's entirely possible. I couldn't tell you necessarily who's missing from the Brighton side that will aid us in any sort of way. I'm just trying to get the game up on who scored here. Where is it? Brighton versus Chelsea. So according to their Solly March, Evan Ferguson, Hinselwood, Estupinan, Mitoma, Milner. They're missing some big players. João Pedro is doubtful. Veltman's doubtful. We've got some of the best news we've had in some time. I think we've got like 6 people injured. Most people are back now. It's just the usual ones where it's your Sanchez, Chukwuemeka, Fernandez, Chilwell, Lavia and Fofana that are remaining out injured. But they've barely played this season as it is, apart from Chilwell. I don't know. Predictions wise, I'm gonna go 2-1 Chelsea. I could see it being 2-2 though, easily. There's been over 2.5 goals scored in 10 of Chelsea's last 11 games in the Premier League. Chelsea have scored at least 2 in 10 of our last 11 in the Premier League. And Chelsea have won our last 3 matches against Brighton in all competitions. So a win is on the cards. 2 goals for Chelsea is on the cards. But it all depends on our defence. Because against Forest, it was so avoidable, a lot of those goals. In terms of 11s, starting 11, Petrovic in goal, Gusto maybe to start, Chalobah, Badiashile and Cucurella, that back 4 I could also see maybe Thiago Silva if he's okay, Caicedo and Gallagher, the middle 2 with Madueke, Mudryk and Palmer, the front 3 with Jackson up top. It's the same old. Will we see James play? Probably. Will we see him start? Probably not. Will he start against Bournemouth? Probably. Who knows? He needs some game time to get into the Euros. So he'll be chomping at the bit to get some game time there. But I mean, that's pretty much it. The second to last preview. a bit of a different format. I don't want it to seem lazy. I know it doesn't help because I'm wearing a different top that isn't Chelsea for the first time ever. I am still trying this season, but we're just winding down on this channel. We're just winding down. The road to 10,000 subscribers is finally underway. Thank you once again for subscribing. But at the same time, if you haven't already, please do subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. My name is Harry. Up the Chelsea. Let me know your predictions in the comments, and peace.